So this is the Plyometric level 3 session. We're looking at sort of more explosive movements at this point, so really starting to get that higher energy movement. If you just want to skip straight to the workout, right over here. Otherwise, we'll do a warm-up first and a cool-down at the end. Bear in mind that all of these exercises can be quite taxing on your joints and your muscles, so if you feel pain at any point, please do stop the exercise and perhaps use one of the ones from the previous plyometric levels to build up that area before you come in and try this version of it. So all you need for today is preferably a nice stable chair, something that you can use as a step. So, you know, a nice sturdy box, actual step, that's fine, and some light dumbbell weight. So you don't want anything too heavy. You can just have one single weight, that'll be fine. All right, let's get started with a bit of a warm-up. So just going to start with a little bit of cardio, so just a gentle jog, bringing those arms up, bringing those feet up behind, squeezing in through your body so you're already starting to activate the core. Keep your head up, looking forward. Focus on your breathing, so try and focus on breathing through the nose and breathing out through the mouth. All right, let's get the arms a little bit more revolved. So we're going to do some star jumps, just out to the side. If this is a bit much pressure on your legs, just do a step out. A bit more like a butterfly, whatever you need. All right, we're going to do a bit of a crossbody, so bringing one elbow to the opposite knee. Keep your body upright so you're not crouching. So stabilize the core. Squeeze that belly to the spine. And breathe, legs wide apart, breathe in. As you come up, breathe out as you come down and bend. Breathe in, and out, and in, and out. We're going to do a roll down, feet about hip width apart, soft knees, breathing in through the nose. Drop your chin to your chest. Start rolling down one vertebrae at a time, let your arms fall forward. Feel it stretch through your back. Hang over your feet, breathe in. As you breathe out, soften your knees and roll back up from the base of the spine. Breathing in. As you breathe out, drop the chin, soften the knees, roll down. Hang at the bottom, breathe in. As you breathe out, soften the knees and roll back up. Going to do a gentle head or neck stretch. So just bring the ear to the shoulder, pull down with this other arm to increase the stretch. Other side. And back. And again. Other side. And once more on the other side. Looking to the side, so rotating your head to the side. Come back through center. Keep pulling down with your arms and your shoulders. That'll help increase the stretch. And just letting it roll forward, so to the chest and back to the shoulder and forward again. Okay, going to roll those shoulders nice and deep. Take the time, maybe press your feet into the floor while you're at it. So give them a little bit of a stretch. Bring the arms the other way. We're going to do some hip circles, so feet wide, just a gentle rotation in each direction. The more you open at the front, the more you open your hip flexors, the more you rotate to the back, the more you stretch your hamstrings. But don't feel you have to go this deep, just as long as you can feel the stretch in those areas. Coming back the other way. All right, quad strap stretch, pick one foot up, bring it to the back side, keep your knees in close, and really try and feel that stretch up the front of the quad. And change over. And change again. So pulling up through your core, that'll help keep you stable. Other side. Going to go with our legs wide. We're just going to hang over, bending at the hips. So we're getting a nice stretch at the back of the legs. From this position, I just want you to bend towards one leg. So you're getting a nice stretch on the inside of your thigh. Come back, throw it through the center and down to the other side. So whether you have your hands on your legs, your thighs, your knees, or on the floor, whatever works for you. Try and make sure that your knees are coming in line with the toe on the knee that's bent, so it stays in that alignment. All right, we're going to turn towards one leg, going into a long lunge. So from here, you can either come up, or you can have your hands down on the floor to stabilize, that's fine, as long as you're opening up the hip flexor there. And rotate through the center, move to the other side. Gently bring your feet in together, coming up. Just going to do some knee bends. So it's a bit like a mini squat, but we're not going very far or fast. So just a gentle waking up of those knee joints. Focus on the knee coming in the same line as your toes, so they're not rolling in or out. A lot of plyometrics do rely on having really nice alignment or stacking of your joints to prevent injury. All right, both feet facing one direction, both legs straight, heels on the floor for both of them. Bend the front leg, make sure that back heel is on the floor. You get a nice stretch up the lower calf, the calf. And change sides. And change sides. And once more. Standing back up, bring one foot behind you and place the top of the foot on the floor. So you're stretching the top of your foot. You can do some wrist rotations at the same time. Change feet. Press the feet into the floor, so the balls of the foot into the floor. You can swap, do your little hoe down dance. Get the knees involved, get the upper body involved, have fun. Mini exercise party. Turn me into a really weird meme. I'm going to regret saying that. But just pressing those feet in was just warming them up. All right, I'm going to roll those ankles. So nice big circles. And the other way. Other side. And back. All right, shake it out. Excellent. We're going to start on the workout exercises. Now, remember, plyometrics can be a lot harder in your body, especially when you get to explosive movements. So all I'm going to demonstrate for you today is one set of 10 of each. At any point, you can decide to pause, go back, do another set if you want, or do the whole thing, come back to the beginning, do another set. But do listen to your body. If you're starting to feel twinges or aches in your joints particularly, probably better to stop and let them rest. This is starting to have much more impactful movements. So there's nothing wrong with doing some of the early plyometric sessions. They're going to help you build up those joints and those muscles so they can cope with some of the more explosive movements.
Another location change. This is for our calf raises with a heel drop. So this is going to be working your hamstrings and your gastrocnemius and soleus a little bit harder. You can use stairs, it helps to have something to steady yourself against, any kind of step. Always good to do low step because you don't want to fall off. So any kind of block, stair, step, whatever you need, it doesn't have to be high. So to start with, you're going to stand on the step, but you're only going to have the top third of your foot on the step, so around the top knuckle or knuckle joint of your toe. So just that top half or top third, so you can feel the ball of your foot pressing against the step. So stabilize yourself. So we're going to do, so we start with our feet hip width apart. Make sure your knees are in line with your toes. Keep the tension through the backs of your legs, through your glutes. So we're going to raise up, pushing through the balls of our feet. As we breathe out, we're going to drop down and then drop our heels below the step. So we're getting a nice stretch along the back of the legs. You can adjust if you're finding it's a little uncomfortable on the balls of your feet. And then as we breathe out, we come back up and then breathe in as we come down. So I'm just going to do 10 of these. So breathing out, up we come. Breathe in and we go down. Breathing out, come up. In and coming down. So squeeze through your glutes as we come up and control down, coming up, control down. Make sure your knees aren't rolling in as we come up, rolling down. Squeeze the glutes as we come up, roll it down. Breathing out as we come up, breathe in as we come down, out as we come up, in as we come down. Coming up and squeezing and down, up and down. And that's it.
Great. Okay, we're going to start with the squat jump. So you know how to squat from previous classes. You know how to jump. We're putting these together. Main focus, knees, stay in line with the foot. You do not want your knees rolling in or out. Same thing with your ankles. You don't want the ankles rolling in or out on these movements. Don't feel you have to go fast or high. Focus on your pushing off motion from the feet, coming through the balls of the foot, and then pushing off from the toes. And when you land, coming down from the balls of the foot and rolling back down to the ankle. That's going to put less pressure and less damage on your joints. So feet just outside of hip width apart. Pull up through your body, so engage your core if you need to. Just squeeze that in, rotate your hips so they're even. Pull in the belly to your spine. Up through your chest, pull up. Shoulders and chest open, shoulders back. And you want your eye line facing forward, so don't let your head drop forward or back. What we're going to be doing is we come down into a squat, and as we come up, we're going to jump. So remember what I said about rolling in and out of the jump motion. So we're going to do 10 of these, prepping coming down, and 1, and 2, and 3, and 4, and 5, and 6, and 7, and 8, and 9, and 10. Again, you can pause, do more, or do the whole rotation and come back to this later.
Okay, next exercise is a wall push-up with a clap. You can do this down on the floor, on your knees, or a full layout, but if you're not used to it and if you want to work on your good stuff from the wall, in which case you can get a better chance of getting the technique correct. So we start with find your wall, pulling up through your legs, up through your glutes, your feet hip width apart. Place your hands on the wall, fingers full apart, just about wrist to shoulder height. Place on the wall, so sitting just outside your shoulders. You can either rotate your shoulders in which case you're getting more of a tricep, or rotate them out, in which you're going to engage your pectoral muscles. So, hands on the wall, take your feet slightly back, raise up onto the balls of your feet, pulling up through the calf, through the thigh, through the glutes, through your core, so getting a nice straight line. Okay. And all we're going to do is breathe in as we come down. As we push up, we're going to breathe out and clap, and then catch ourselves on the wall. So, stabilize yourself, keep your eye line straight up. We're going to breathing in, down, out, clap. Breathe in, down, out, clap. Breathe in. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Good.
Next exercise is a chair supported hop. So you know how to hop, you can do that, but what I really want you to focus on is your alignment. And again, the same thing we're looking at the squat jump is that roll through from the ball of the foot down towards the heel, not landing flat on the heel, because that's going to jar through your ankle joint, your knee joint, and your hip joint. So you always want to be pushing off, rolling up from the heel through the ball of the foot, and then back down the same way. So we're going to do one leg at a time. I want you to focus on the knee staying in alignment with your toes. So you don't want it turning in or out, you want it stable. You're basically going to have your hands on the chair or table, whatever you're using. Step back a little bit if you need to. One leg up. And all we're going to do is use this for a bit of support, take some of the body weight up so we can focus on our foot movement. So we bend and hop. I'll show you with the other foot in front. We bend, roll up and hop through. So we're trying to create that explosive energy without the entirety of our body weight on it. We're going to do 10 on each foot. I'll start with the front leg. So raise up the other foot, keep it out of the way. Check your knee alignment. Make sure your toes are foot pointing forward. Bend and push. And 2. And 3. 4. 5. 6. 7. 8. 9, 10. Good. All right, we're going to swap to the other leg. Stabilize your hands. Stabilize your core. Pull up through that supporting leg. Check again that knee alignment. So bend the knee and up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. We're going to do a cross body punch. So whatever you're using, and if you don't have two weights the same, do 10 on one side, 10 on the other. Feet fairly relaxed, about hip width apart. You can have the knees bent if you want. We're going to start with our hands kind of in a boxer's pose. So palms and wrists facing inwards. Make sure that your wrist isn't bending back due to the weight. Make sure you've got a weight so that you can hold it and maintain that nice straight line from the forearm through to your knuckles. So starting in classic pose, a little bit hands around the sort of chin level. We're going to rotate our hips as we punch across and bring it in. Across and bring it in. So you want to keep these up high so you're always engaging. Squeeze the glutes, squeeze your belly to your spine, engaging that core. Make sure your sacrum isn't pushed out. Tuck it under and squeeze. I'm going to do 10 on each side, alternating. So Of course, if you've only got one weight, one side and then the other. Here we go. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. If you need to change over, go right ahead. We're going to do that again. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Roll, relax, breathe. So we're going to do basically a robot bounce. So this little pulsation, starting to get into some explosive movements without them being a high impact on your joints. So this is mostly working the triceps and the upper arms, so we're really focusing on our control. You need to pull up through your core. You can use 1 or 2 weights. If you're having 1, you're just going to share the weight between them. If you've got 2, you're just going to keep them close together, so they're making a bit of a triangle over your head. The position we're after is kind of this 90-degree rotation. And all we're going to be doing is coming down, extend and bounce. So arms are long but not locked. Coming up and bounce. You can do this standing. You can do this kneeling. If you're finding it's hard on your lower back, because you're having trouble keeping the core stable, do a split stance, so one leg in front of the other, whether standing or sitting. And that'll relieve some of the pressure. Pull up through the core, squeeze your glutes, raise your weights, and we're going to go down, bounce, and up, bounce. So squeeze your shoulder blades, down and up. Make sure your shoulders aren't rising up. Down, 3, and up, bounce. Down, 4, and up, bounce. Down, 5, and up, bounce. Down, 6, and up, bounce. Down, 7, and up, bounce. Down, 8, and up, bounce. 9, bounce, up, bounce. 10, bounce, up, bounce. And relax. This next one is a variant of the wood chopper movement, which we did a little bit in some of the previous sessions. We're just going to add a bounce or a pulse, the same way we did with the robot movement. Again, you can use 1, you can use 2, whatever you like, but your hands are going to be together, so they'll be sharing whatever weight you hold. Feet, a little bit outside of hip width. You can go wider if that's more comfortable. The basic movement we're doing is kneeling down towards one leg, bring our arms down to the outside of that leg, and then rotating it up to the other side. So we're getting a long spinal rotation, a long stretch, and as we get up, a little pulse up that way. Be careful of your spine. We're going to do this one a little bit slower. So if you need to, take it at a much smoother pace and remove the pulse if it's a bit too much. So we're going to do 10 on one side, 10 on the other. So coming down, arms out on the outside and up, pulse, and down, and up, pulse, and down, and up, pulse, and 3, up, pulse. Keep your shoulders down, up, pulse, down, and that's 5, down, and 6, down, 7, down, 8, down, 9, down, 10. All right, roll it out. So always try to make sure you're engaging your core as much as you can, squeezing your muscles. Keep those shoulders down, your chest open. We're going to go the other side. So check your position, check your breathing and your spine. Coming down to the outside of that leg and up. 1, and down, and 2, pulse, and down, and 3, pulse, and down, 4, pulse, down, 5, pulse, 6, up, pulse, 7, up, pulse. I think I've been saying it down for a while. 8, up, pulse, 9, up, pulse, 10, last one, up, pulse. Roll out the shoulders. Put down your weights. I'm going to stretch out the back a little bit, so hands behind, pulling them back, stretching out your chest. Bring the hands in front, bend the knees, Stretch out your lower back. Okay, last exercise for this set. We're going to do what's called a Russian twist. Now do be careful with these. It can be quite hard on the abdominals and you don't want to be jerking too fast on this. It's still kind of the level 1 version. You can do this with or without a weight. If you do have a weight, you're going to be sharing it between your hands. If you're not, that's fine. Start seated, feet flat on the floor, so the heels are on the floor, comfortable position apart, knees in line with your hips, in line with your toes, so everything is forward there. We're going to have our hands in front of us, pull up through our spine, head facing forward, and we're going to curve our back, so create a bit of a C curve. So we're having to engage our abdominals, so squeezing the belly to the spine, so you can feel it engaging. And all we're going to do from here is we're going to rotate to one side as far as we can, back to the center, and out to the other side. I'm going to show you from the front position. So again, knees, hips, toes in line. This is me sitting up straight. As I curve my back, you can see I come down a bit lower. I rotate as far as I can to the one side, to center, and back. So as you get more comfortable and your body's more used to it, you can have a bit of a faster motion. But for now, I really just want you to focus on that technique, that rotation, and that control. So again, if you've got a weight, go right ahead. Check your feet, knees, hips, pull up through your spine, squeeze your belly in towards your spine. Activate the thighs, so kind of start squeezing through the legs to help maintain your position. Arms in front and shoulders down, head facing forward. Curve the back so you're engaging your belly. And going over to the right and center, and left and center. 2 and left, to the right and left. Keep breathing. 4 and 5. Make sure you're still squeezing that belly. And 6. Breathe out as you go to the side. And 8. And 9. And 10. All right. Oops. Good job. All right. So this is the point. If you want to, you can pause, go back to this time if you want to start the whole set again. Otherwise, we're going to do a little bit of we're going to stay on the floor, so whatever's comfortable for your legs. We're just going to stretch out our head, so hands interlaced, sitting behind the head, and all you're doing is you're letting the weight of your arms relax and stretch the back of your neck. So just breathing in through your nose, out through your mouth, in through your nose, out through your mouth, in through your nose, out through your mouth. We're going to bring one arm across, keeping the shoulder down, arms straight. Just creating a stretch along this part of your shoulder. And the other side. We're going to just do a little spinal rotation, so you can have your legs crossed, open. You can have them in front of you if you like. All we're doing is rotating to one side, pulling up through the spine. Through the center and the other side. We're going to do a quad stretch. So bring one foot in front of you, sort of tucking it into the crotch. Other foot sitting behind you, so the heel's coming towards your backside. You're going to take that back foot, you're going to pull it up with that hand, and you're going to draw it in towards your bum. Now, depending on if you're not feeling it there or you want more out of this stretch, you can bring the leg around a bit further. And what you can do is push up off the floor, so your backside's off the floor, and rotating up. So it's the difference between doing this position here and here. So whichever one helps you get a better stretch through that quad. All right, relax that leg. We're going to swap them over. So again, whichever position is more comfortable, bringing that heel in towards your backside. So either just here in a seated position, or rolling it up, stretching forward, so you can get a nice long stretch of that quad. And release. I'm going to stretch out the hamstrings, so legs wide. Also our hip flexors at the same time, because why not? Make sure that your toes are flexed back and your knees and toes are rotated backwards. So let them rotate back, don't let them fall forward, because you'll feel a bit more of a crunch there. We're opening up these flexors. Doesn't matter how far back these are, doesn't matter if you're there or there, as long as you're feeling a bit of stretch in here and a bit of a stretch underneath here. So the more you do these, the more you'll be able to open up wider, pulling up through the spine. What we're going to do is take one hand and slide it towards the foot. Doesn't matter how far down you go. Again, flex those toes back. It's going to help increase that stretch there. And we're just going to breathe for a count of 10. So 10, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Roll it back up. Down to the other side. Count of 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Come back up. If you can, just try and roll forward. It doesn't matter how far. Again, we're just opening up those hip flexors. Keep those feet flexed. Again, the more you can slowly start to push how far you're taking this, the bigger a stretch you'll get and the easier it will get for next time. Coming back up. Going to do another little stretch in this position. We're going to do the opposite arm to leg, so we'll get more of a side abdominal stretch. So take, in this case, my left hand is going around to my right foot. I'm trying to reach on the outside leg. It doesn't matter if it's at the thigh, the knee, the calf, or the foot. What we're doing is trying to stretch along here. Don't let your head bow over. Try and keep a long spine. And gently come back up. Going to go to the other side now, so opposite hand to leg, wherever it takes you, slide down and pull it forward. And coming up. Just going to do a little bit of a stretch for our feet. I'm just going to come up onto one knee. All I'm going to do is come up into the ball of the foot and try and rotate my knee over, so it's getting a nice stretch through there. If you want to get a bit more thigh stretch, you can open up a little bit, just depending on where you find that works for you. And down, other side. Bring it down, legs extended in front. All we're going to do is point the toes, so try and extend them as far forward as you can so you get a nice stretch along the front or the top of your foot. If you start feeling it start feeling it cramping up, just release and wait to see if you can go back into this position. And relax. And bring the toes towards you, heels out. Wriggle the toes. Give them a little squeeze, so let them clench into little toe fists. You can do that with your hands too. Shake it out. And there we go. If you need to do a few more stretches, go right ahead or check one of the other stretching videos. But remember, take note of how your body's feeling, how your joints in particular are feeling, and that'll give you a good idea as to whether you can continue with this particular variant of these exercises, or if perhaps you need to spend a little bit of time in one of the earlier sessions and just build up that support structure around your joints. You may end up doing a combination of both, and that's fine. Otherwise, I will see you next time.